What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to another watch this video. Tomorrow's Friday. We almost made it to the end of the week in this absolute chop fest of a market. Hopefully most of you have been super patient, hopefully doing nothing, keeping yourself occupied in different areas of life, with hobbies or studying prior market cycles or this most recent cycle, things like that. Not looking at these charts every day because it is not fun to watch paint dry, right? Your futures market, crude, with a double inside day right under a resistance gap. To me, it looks like it might want to push higher into a declining 50. For now, it looks fine. Your dollar, you had undercut yesterday and a rally today. Back through that left side low. Can it get back above the 10 and 20? Would be super interesting. You got an inside day. Looks like it's possible. Who knows? Your NQ is breaking down here in the after hours, losing that support level down about a little over 0.5%. So you're back below the 50. Looks like we want to live below it for now. Until that changes. But yeah, definitely shitty action across the board in a lot of stocks, right? Your EWY, which if I could pull that up right now, right? Another one where you're gapping down over 3.5% here in the futures market. Not the best look, right? Haven't been able to gain traction on the long side in the last week. Besides like CrowdStrike, I actually didn't add this one. I've been holding that, but Palo Alto was the only one I added to. And I also still own DDOG. But the only names that I've just, still been holding a little bit of cushion from the from this week, right? From early in the week. That's it though, and those are small size positions. So, in CrowdStrike, I'm pretty much trimmed on majority of, my position now, especially on that big burst. I trim more into that. So can't do too much into it. Kind of let these ones work. But besides that, nothing's been working. Just letting those do their thing. Which stuff that's been showing relative strength most likely is going to be pushed over into relative weakness, and these ones are likely going to get sold off as well, right? Did not mean to do that, but I will be ready to adapt to the market if needed, if things were to change, right? Like I threw an Intel on here, right? You get an undercut of the left side low. Will we rally back through it in the morning? I don't know. You got earnings next week on Thursday, so about a week. Would be interesting to see if we rally back through, right? This is a huge spot for sure for an undercut and rally to occur. But I mean, this thing's gotten hit so hard. The SMH has gotten hammered. I got hit again today, right? Entry tactics for me on the long side remain just undercut and rallies, but I haven't been taking anything, right? Shorts have been working extremely well, of course, right? And like I said, I haven't even been taking the UNRs because even those haven't been working. Like even if you're looking at recent leaders undercutting certain levels, whether it's gaps, moving averages, like intraday, like they'll bounce and then they'll just go ahead and make new lows again. Like, nothing's working, even for those that are sitting there and trying to buy these undercut and rallies, right? So it's just not even worth it to sit here and keep doing it over and over again and just continue taking a loss over and over again. But Intel, I will say, I'll continue to put these ones on my list. I haven't been taking any of these undercut and rallies. I tried AMD, was the only name I tried today with a super small size position. And if you are going to go out and try a name as an undercut and rally, don't go out and see the market bounce and go buy 5 different names, right? If you really want to get in something, you take super tiny size in one name. And if that starts to work, then you maybe go and get something else. But that hasn't even been working, right? Even trying to buy weakness hasn't been working. So definitely don't want to go out looking for strength in names, buying breakouts. I see a few charts that pop, like ANET, just for example, like buying a breakout ANET. I was buying it on Wednesday and getting stopped out on Wednesday, right? So, you're trying to buy the strength and it just doesn't work. Like it will work for a few days and it comes back on you. That's just the type of market we're in. The environment is the absolute most important thing, I think, in my opinion, because even if you have, say, a really good environment and you absolutely suck setup wise, you've never studied, you probably will still do really well in a good environment. And when it comes to a shitty environment, you could have studied so many setups, but if you don't understand the situation that you're in the current market's environment, it's not going to matter what setup you take because it's going to fail no matter what. So no real traction in this market right now. Maybe we need some capitulation in like semis or your memory stocks. Best to just sit on your hands. Don't get back the gains for those that have made it some nice gains on this this nice bull cycle that we had the last like a few months, right? But you got earnings season right around the corner, right? So me personally focusing on protecting my mental capital, which is to me the most important thing right now, right? Going over some ETFs. XLV had a nice day today. Obviously, Eli Lilly, another one kind of pushed above the prior day high, still below the 10 and 20. Not my favorite action, really. I would like an inside day tomorrow, and then maybe we can get back through that level. But I will keep an eye on this, just getting back above the 10 and 20. AbbVie was nice today, and that XLV group right off the 20-day, and then MRK was another one where you get a big shakeout of the 20-day, and then you rally back through it today. So shitty action in a stock that moves 2% per day. I'd rather just monitor these ones and not trade them in any way. Kind of really just, like I said, doing absolutely nothing. Your value ETF, IWD, made a new high today, I think. New all-time closing high, which was super interesting, right? Mag 7 heavy. I think Amazon is a big holding in this, which got smacked at the 50-day. Apple obviously new all-time high, just pushing higher. So that's that kind of sums that up. RSP, right? Your equal weight did break out here, which I would be surprised to see this failing in the next few days. But either way, nice relative strength. Definitely pushing higher and holding up. Bug, obviously your cybersecurity, one of the better ETFs as far as setup wise, right? Resting for 2 days, right? Through CrowdStrike on the list. It's just resting under under a new high. And then same thing with Palo Alto, kind of resting for 2 days under a new high, trying to build out something here. Don't want to see it break down. That will make me get rid of mine for sure. And then Snow also can be considered in that like software kind of group. But just this wedging action sucks, but it's been holding up so well. You got pretty much double inside day. The weekly chart, again, not my favorite. You're just wedging straight up, so it needs real tight action. So I'll just continue to watch today, but it's been holding up really well. The relative strength on this one is nice, right? RS rating of 90, so it's been holding up really nice. DDOG, a big relative strength one, a name I own. I really like this consolidation. I really like this. So super interesting. We'll see if it can get pushed tomorrow over, if I can flip back that over the prior day's high. That'll be a super interesting spot for me. But besides that, you got CrowdStrike, same thing, just watching the prior day high. I won't add to this one, right? Don't want to get too heavy in this group if it will just be the last group to remain and then eventually rolls over. But DDOG, like I said, I really like this base, this little mini base or flag, whatever you want to call that it's making. Snow, just a little too wedgy, but want to keep an eye on it. And Palo Alto, just letting it kind of trade sideways. But that Bug ETF looks good. Definitely think it's the best looking group. Mags is right there behind it, in my opinion, right? This thing's not at all-time highs yet, but it looks like it can get there pretty soon. Not a bad rest day today, not quite an inside day, but just barely almost an inside day, right? Obviously, like I said, Apple, he made a new all-time high day. Amazon's another example. I talked about this yesterday as far as like, damn, I can't believe I missed it. Well, I'm glad I missed it because this thing broke the lows of the day. It rejected the 50, and it's just a nasty day overall. So super gross action, right? But that's what you get for trying to buy breakouts in a market where that's just not the current market environment. It's not rewarding stuff like this. So don't go out trying to buy things like this. So maybe it was good that I did not buy this one. But either way, I thought the setup was perfect, and even seeing perfect setups not work just goes to show the current market's environment, right? But Nvidia looks fine. It's just building under that previous all-time high. I'm going to continue to keep an eye on it. I thought I threw this one on the list, but either way, I'll throw it on there. Doesn't look bad, right? Google, this one got hit pretty hard. Bearish engulfing right at the 50-day. Maybe this one, Amazon, were just shorts at the 50-day. I wouldn't be surprised. Either way, pretty much laggards in that in the group of the mags, right? I think Meta looks pretty good. I threw this on the list. You get an inside day today. You had the big gap up. You're living above the 200. Nice 3-day like pull into the 5-day. This thing's pretty strong if it's surfing a 5-day right now in the last little bit. So I like this little range it's building, but another one where it's like, I don't want to be buying a breakout on this name. So I'll just monitor it. Earnings is coming up on a lot of names, so it's best just sit tight and don't do much. I think KRE had a pretty nice day, right? A lot of your regional banks were doing nice today. Now some weaker areas, right? Because I always talk about the good stuff, but let's get into some ugly shit that you shouldn't be paying attention. WGMI, right? You're right at the 200-day. So yeah, this is probably an area where it's going to get ready to bounce here very soon. But either way, this is absolute disgusting action, right? But you're right at the 200-day. QQQ, you lost your 50 yesterday and you're living below it today. Not the best look. SMH, same thing. You lost yesterday, you're living below it today. Not the best sign, right? You would have want to seen these things undercut yesterday and then rally back through today, but they're just continuing lower. So they're in a downtrend in the shorter term. DRAM, super nasty. Could this rally back through tomorrow and be an undercut and rally? Yeah, possibly. Anything's possible. It'd have to have a huge gap, or it would have to have a huge snapback for that to be interesting in any way. But I don't care too much about these. These things, like I said, maybe need some capitulation or something. But you had a nice down day today with some decent volume, so maybe it's getting there. ARC, another growth kind of area, losing the 200-day. IWO growth area, losing the 50-day, losing your key areas, right? ALAB, going over some names that have been hit pretty hard, whether they've been prior leaders, names that have made some super. ALAB losing the 50-day, right? Super weak. Marvell, been hit pretty damn hard. 4 days under the 50-day. This is ugly. It tried to give maybe a possible undercut and rally, and it just built a 2-day bear flag, and since then it's down, like almost, over 15%. So that's super ugly, right? Hut going to the WGMI group. This name was a big relative strength leader in that group, and it offered one good spot on the way up. Maybe some more, I don't know, but either way, it's breaking down. It's building a bear flag below the 50, and it moved below that today. So you got names breaking down that have been prior leaders. Dell, another one breaking down. ARM breaking down, right? VE, absolutely disgusting. I'm super upset I'm not short this name. I tried so hard to get short these 2 days right here, right at the high, just as a like breach and failure of that. This first day it breached, started to fail, I got short, and then it made a new high day one more time, and then it eventually rolled over, and that sucked. But yeah, I definitely maybe should have stuck with this one a little bit more. Definitely something I can go back and study. There's one thing I wish I could be doing right now, and obviously in hindsight, be short more names. I have like one name short, and that's about it. I wish I was short much more names, because a lot of these growth names have been absolutely hammered, and money is definitely rotating out of these. So super interesting, right? And alongside VE, FCell, another one where you cracked the 50, you live below it, and now you're just moving in not a pretty way. CRDO, another one below the 50. Cisco, right? This one was holding up pretty well the last week, and now it's getting hammered. MU, right? Lost to 50 yesterday, moving below it today, right? But at support, so it's super interesting. MXL, right? Another name where you thought I was holding relative strength, but no, this was just a bear flag here, right? Whichever way you want to draw this, you can draw it in a bunch of different ways, but it was just a bear flag. So stuff that's showing relative strength is now just moving into relative weak. NBIS, right? I can go down this list. SanDisk, right? All of these names getting hit pretty hard. Frog, right? Recent name showing relative strength. You just lost a 20-day. Could it rally back through? Yeah, 100%. HIMS, absolutely disgusting. This name has been a big RS name. You get back above the 200. You started to act nice. You had a really nice OEL day yesterday, and then you're down 10% today. Like that, you know what I'm saying? There's just nothing to do in this market. Hood, another one. Super nice day a day or two ago, and then you're down 8.5% today. BB, been holding up really well, 14% today, right? Reddit, another one where you've been holding up super well. Relative strength just becomes relative weakness, and this thing's down 6.5%. SIMO, you lost to 50 after holding above it, which very few names have been doing. So that's probably going to be it for me. I appreciate you guys all for watching. There will be no video tomorrow night, of course, but if there's anything I could say, it's just be extra patient. Like I said, if you're going to try to go after anything, if you see like an undercut and rally or something like that, and maybe the setup screaming at you, most likely don't take it, or keep size super small. Go for one name, the name that has probably been holding up the absolute best. And yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Twist building above the 20-day, kind of going over I'll watch this real fast. Sorry, I kind of forgot. AMD right into the 50. Will it bounce here? Is it going to lose it? Most likely probably going to lose it. CrowdStrike I talked about. INTC just as a rally. Meta, Snow, Twist, you're kind of sideways above. I think the XBI lost a 20-day, and ARCG, just barely holding above that 20. So it'll be super interesting how this Twist acts. I don't mind this weekly chart. I don't know. It's building some sort of range here. Is it a move down, a bear flag, a little wedgie, and then going to break down maybe? Or is it going to just push above the priority high and be an actionable setup? I don't know. But either way, I will catch you guys on Sunday night, right? Obviously tomorrow's Friday. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Sunday night. Peace.